Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a phenomenal day. One more look at Solana here, just seeing what's going on. Pretty straightforward. I don't know how to describe this, but we see a lot of divergence here. Solana's really unpaired itself from Bitcoin poorly, and what I simply mean by that is we're seeing a pretty solid sell-off here for Solana when Bitcoin's going sideways, and it's not really a good look. Okay, so again, a lot of times when you trade altcoins, you want to look at the correlation between Bitcoin and altcoins, but also just like it's pairing, like, you know, how does it respond to sell-offs, how does it respond to pumps? And right now Solana is just looking pretty weak. However, it doesn't mean you just short into it. We may be better off waiting for a better long, or the price will recover instantly. We got to find out if that's the case. The truth here is, though, patience is going to be paramount, and that's just kind of the name of the game right now. When I analyzed Bitcoin earlier today, I recommended basically not trading because it's in a range until it establishes, breaking above or below that range. There's really no reason to consider taking a trade. Sorry, I pulled up the wrong chart here, but the key takeaway I would say is that when it comes to Solana, I mean, it's normally a very strong coin, but we're starting to see some of those shifts in momentum. Okay, and we're going to look at that here. But the easy thing to understand here on liquidation is, first of all, there's a ton of it just below the price action. People are taking longs like crazy at the 150 to 148 range, which I understand because we established that 150 to 151 is that support level, and that is a likely place for people to want to buy. The only concern I have here is that we keep retesting this area, and the more often you test something, the more likely it is to break. And just the fact that Bitcoin's going sideways and Solana's going down, that's really not a good combination. So anyways, that's kind of that. Let's quickly look at one other thing here. First of all, massive amount of liquidation upwards of 162. So if we start getting closer to the 160 range, it may be best to presume the price will continue higher. But for right now, we got about 3 billion in liquidation as low as 149. Okay, so a quick wick down would make sense. We look here, the delta isn't too crazy here on our liquidation chart. So the truth is that's like, kind of in this transition. A lot of coins that are above and below the delta, it keeps increasing and decreasing. They're the ones that are struggling the most right now when Bitcoin's going up. And to give you some clarification, this is the reason why I feel Bitcoin is going to possibly pull back. First of all, its range in itself is looking good. Okay, so it's working within the range. We break down from the range, we might see further downside. That's not the reason. Again, everything is mostly bullish on Bitcoin's charts. However, on the back end, we can see not necessarily liquidation, but the delta is way, way, way too high, at least for my own liking. I do not like to see 9-10 billion in long delta, basically implying that there's way too many longs in the last 5 trading days here, and that's a potential signal that the price will pull back. So if we see that, and just say Bitcoin happens to pull back, what do you think Solana is going to be doing if it's inversely paired here? So, I mean, take a look at this chart. Bitcoin sideways for the most part. Solana sideways, and now all of a sudden, not quite sure it wants to hold this level, it just wants to sell off. But look at this too. Volume is drying up, whereas Bitcoin, we can see Bitcoin has pretty stable amounts of volume, even though they're large inflows. It is steadily, consistently receiving volume. So again, for the most part, that's kind of where we're at. And honestly, the volume isn't that bad for Solana, but there is money flowing away from the coin. And the truth is, when MFI comes down, we'll look at that here in a minute, there's a good chance we're going to see a continuation lower. So let's just go ahead and pull up the daily. And enough speculation, let's look at the charts, kind of see what's going on. And to clarify, this range up here is just a liquidation range. I'll close that out just for the moment so we can kind of keep a nice clean chart. Daily time frame, we're above all moving averages. We're basically testing the 200 right now. So it does imply we have some support in the 151 range. All right? So this 0.5 fib level from a macro fibs is basically telling us we're right at that halfway point. But if we close below 151, 152, there's a solid chance we could see the price continue to go down. If we take a look at the other situations here, we can kind of see that we're over 50 on the RSI, also a good sign. That's a positive sign. I wouldn't say it's bullish, but it's not bearish, right? It's more neutral positive. Having said that, though, we got stochastic kind of topping out, letting us know that this little run is tentatively over. We're shifting momentum. Money flow index is pretty high, but you got to recognize it's jumping up because these candles are starting to fall off. Okay, so when you have money flow index increasing out of nowhere, you want to kind of look at the charts and see, because there's a 14-day lag. A lot of folks will get false positives on these special indicators they pay thousands of dollars for that give you green and red dots that are false positives. So just be careful with that. Again, we're seeing a pretty significant taper there from the previous price action falling off. It's again 14 days ago. So the money flow index is going to be increasing, even though we're not seeing the money flowing in. We're seeing it flowing out. We can see an obvious taper here with the volume. Okay, so that to me makes more sense than trusting that little bit of MFI. Also, taking a look here, we can see money flow index also above the RSI. This is generally a positive sign. I like to see the MFI above the RSI. However, we also got to recognize too that this average amount of trading days here, we're starting to see the price action taper off. So the easy way to understand it here is when you see these things and the RSI is right there at 50 or below, it's usually a sign not to really trade. But once more, there are other signs too here telling us that the price should pull back, and again, under the assumption that Bitcoin does retrace, we'll see that happen too. So me personally, this just kind of feels like a trap. I think Bitcoin is trying to trap some late longs. There's way too much open interest in the 67K range, plus that massive amount of delta in the last 5 days. That is usually a recipe for disaster. Either way you look at it, if Bitcoin does retrace, I think Solana is going to pull back pretty hard, just based on the simple fact that most altcoins are kind of on the edge of disaster right now. And if we do take a look at Bitcoin dominance, it just doesn't want to stop. Keep in mind, this is not the cause, this is the effect of altcoins selling off, but it's a good representation of how poorly altcoins are doing. The higher Bitcoin dominance goes, the lower alts go, and that's just kind of the natural way of things. And the reason why that happens too, folks, is because profits are coming away from altcoins, going right into Bitcoin. Once Bitcoin hits its top, Bitcoin starts to sell off and altcoins drop a lot harder because Bitcoin dominance is way too high. You can see that reflected here on what I've got, see if I can find it for us, education, here we go. I got this pinned, by the way, in our education section. Basically, Bitcoin dominance is up, Bitcoin price is up, so we're seeing alts go down right now. Okay, that's generally the consensus. But just say, for example, we do see Bitcoin dominance start to stabilize, then that would be positive for altcoins. Because again, Bitcoin can essentially go up and alts can go up too. That's what we're looking for. So if we start to see Bitcoin dominance just kind of go sideways, then we're good. But it keeps going up, up, and up, which leads me to believe that we're going to see the price action go down. If Bitcoin goes down, we're going to see a dump. And that's the thing we want to be mindful of and be very careful with right now. I think taking longs on altcoins right now is very, very dangerous. Just my personal thoughts. I could be way off. I've been wrong plenty of times in the past. So let's take a look here at the hourly time frame and reflect here on what this transitionary time frame tells us. I mean, technically the 4 hours is a transitionary time frame, but the hourly really just confirms here that we are absolutely bearish. Lagging spends free and clear conversion lines below the baseline. We're way below the cloud, and we lost our support at 151/152. So it really just feels like Bitcoin is going to pull back, I think, a little bit more, and I think Solana is going to do so as well. And I don't know if you can kind of see this correlation again. There's not really a good pairing here. Bitcoin's going up in the last 3 or 4 hours, and Solana going down the last 3 or 4 hours. There's something happened here. Either way, there's a fair value gap as low as 148, 149. So again, I don't necessarily think we're going to see a significant decrease in value for Solana, but I do think this liquidation area is going to be up for debate here shortly. Not in the good kind of way either. So I hope that makes sense. Either way, I want to say thank you so much for watching my Solana community. You've all been phenomenal and exceptional and always liking the videos and just kind of helping get the word out. So I appreciate it. And obviously, you want to help out, feel free to just hit the like button, comment below, join us over on Twitter, Telegram, and Discord, and be happy to work with you. I thank you so much for your time. We'll look forward to seeing the next one. Take care.